Radio brought entertainment and sports and news of the world right into our own homes. It wasn't just broadcasting.
Retained our faith.
It was hope. In that spirit, our government made policies to make sure the media protects the public.
And since the airways are considered public property, the Federal Communications Commission is charged with the responsibility of protecting the people's interests.
The FCC decided broadcasters needed to be licensed. The licenses were free of charge, but there was a catch. TV and radio owners had to serve the public. If they did not, people could challenge those licenses, and the FCC could take them away. And the FCC understood that radio and TV should be owned locally, so they passed strict rules limiting the number of stations any one person could own.
Independent community stations, of which only 6 are owned and operated by NBC.
Then came war. And radio became a lifeline.
The President of the United States.
The information we were getting was vital. We all knew that.
A date which will live in infamy.
Important to our national security, important to our democracy.
Hello, America. This is Edward Murrow speaking from London.
And we learned this new media could be used against us.
This is your #1 enemy, your favorite playmate, orphan Ann, a radio social.
Think it over, Yankee brother. They are doing their best to let you know they are not behind you in this war. This is the voice of truth.
What they did, of course, under those fascist regimes was to just broadcast over and over again the information and the perspective, the point of view, and the propaganda that they wanted people to digest, absorb. And so the Federal Communications Commission back in 1949 incorporated something called the Fairness Doctrine.
The Fairness Doctrine required radio and TV stations to provide coverage of vitally important controversial issues and to provide a reasonable opportunity for the presentation of contrasting viewpoints.
You have to bring them on. You have to give people the opportunity to express an alternative point of view.
Now,
it was a code that served us well.
Good evening.
Through the administrations of Truman, Eisenhower, Kennedy, Johnson, Nixon, Ford, and Carter.
For General Electric, here is Ronald Reagan. Good evening.
Then a real media man came into power.
But I will faithfully execute the office.
Ronald Reagan was the king of deregulation. His FCC deregulated TV and radio so one person could own dozens of broadcast stations nationwide, and said the free market would provide fairness in broadcasting. So they got rid of the Fairness Doctrine. Then came cable. No holds barred. TV and radio sure have changed since then.
The typical college professor is a raving lunatic. I think they're lunatic asylums.
Anyway, back then, Republicans and Democrats passed a bill to reinstate the Fairness Doctrine. Newt Gingrich and Trent Lott were co-sponsors. But Ronald Reagan vetoed it. The rules had changed. And within months, Rush Limbaugh would teach us all how to play the new game. Bash the Democrats.
Barack, the magic Negro, This is about chaos. This is why it's called Operation Chaos.
Even inciting riots at the Democratic convention.
And we have a replay of Chicago 1968 with burning cars, protests, fires, literal riots, and all of that. That's the objective here.